Okay, guys, today I want to dispel the myth that you've been hearing about you don't need money to buy a house. That is simply not the truth. You do need money. And in this quick 5-minute video, I'm going to tell you what you need the money for, where you can get it from. It doesn't have to necessarily be your money, but you will need some money. My name is Salandia Hammond, aka Sue Ham Baby Mortgage broker with loanswithsueham.com, powered by Edge Home Finance. So let's get started. Let's make this really, really big, and let's explore what you need the money for to buy your home. All right. Like I said, we're going to bust that myth. I'm going to tell you what you need it for. You cannot buy a home without zero cash. Again, may not be your money, but it's going to be somebody's money. You're going to need money for down payment, people. Yes, VA and USDA loans are 0% down, so you don't need any money for that. But if it's an FHA loan, it's a 3.5% down payment, 3.5% of the purchase price. Conventional loans can go down to as low as 3%. Yes, there's a myth that says you need 20% down payment. That is not the case for everybody. There are programs that allow 0% down. There are programs that allow 3% down, programs that allow 3.5% down. Now, there are still some upfront money that you're going to need, and we are going to cover those right now. That upfront money consists of appraisal fees. We have to determine the value of the property in order to get the loan for the home that you want to buy. Appraisal fees can consist of $400 to $700. Inspection fees, regardless of what anybody tells you, always get a home inspected. I don't care if it's a new build. Always get a home inspected. And that can range in the state of South Carolina between $300 to $600. And these numbers that I'm giving you are based in the state of South Carolina. Then there's earnest money deposit, which is typically 1% to 3% of the purchase price. Typically in South Carolina, the earnest money deposit, which is sometimes referred to as EMD, is typically $1,000. But again, that can range from 1% to 3% of the purchase price. Okay. So these are upfront costs before you even close the loan. Has nothing to do with down payment or closing costs that you are responsible for paying. If you stick with me to the end, I'll tell you how you can get some of these costs covered. So next slide is closing costs. Closing costs is associated with every loan. Now, even though with a USDA loan or a VA loan or a loan with NACA, there are no closing costs, please understand that closing costs exist with every loan. What are closing costs, Sue? Well, they include the lender's fee, insurance, taxes, underwriting fee, escrow, title, what you're paying your attorney to be able to close this loan. Typically, closing costs range between 2% to 5% of the home price. So if we're looking at a $300,000 home, closing costs can consist of $6,000 to $15,000. Okay, $100,000 home, you're looking at a cost of $2,000 to $5,000. Don't get freaked out about this high amount. Okay, I'm going to tell you how you can get help with some of these costs. Hang with me here now. Stick with me. Stick with me. So, down payment assistance. If you're not using a VA loan or USDA loan or NACA loan, which are 0% down, then you are either going to be using an FHA loan or a conventional loan, which down payments can go down to as low as 3% and up to 20%, just depending on what you want to put down. There are down payment assistance programs out there. You do have to qualify. Some down assistance and payments programs require you to have a 640 middle mortgage score to qualify. Some are forgivable, meaning they're grants, true grants. You don't have to pay them back. Some of them are forgivable loans that you don't have to pay back. And some of them you do have to pay back. So you just have to see where you fall if you qualify. As a mortgage broker, I do have down payment assistance programs that go down to a 600, 620 credit score. But bear in mind, it does limit your buying power on the house because of debt to income. All right, so let's go even further. Like I told you, there was help out there for down payment assistance. Now, what about closing costs? Can the seller help with your closing costs? Remember what those closing costs were? Let's go back to it. These are your closing costs. Can the seller help with these closing costs? And that answer is yes. Are they required to help with the closing costs? That answer is no. It is completely up to the seller if they want to help you with closing costs. A great realtor will negotiate that and try to get you as much closing cost help as they can. Sometimes You may not want to ask the seller for a whole lot, or the seller can't give it to you. You may have enough room in your budget where you can increase the purchase price and then use that extra fund towards your closing costs. So a lot of times when you hear realtors or brokers or mortgage companies or banks saying, hey, they were able to get $2,500 back at closing, or $1,000 back at closing, or they didn't come out of their pocket at closing, they didn't have to bring any money to the closing table, it's generally because the seller is probably helping with closing costs, or they have down payment assistance, grants, or loan to help with down payments and closing costs. But like I said before, money is needed. Remember, earnest money deposit. Remember, appraisals. Remember, inspections. Those things are out of pocket expenses beforehand that you will need. So stop thinking that you can buy a house without money. Might not need to be your money, but it needs to be somebody's money to buy this house. Now, you can use gift funds. This is what I mean by somebody else's money. Family, friends can give money towards your down payment or your closing costs. However, it's got to be documented. You can't just go up under the mattress and pull it up out of from under the mattress and give somebody cash and say, here you go, use it. It doesn't work that way. It has to be documented, and it has to be a signed letter attached to that with the proof of transfer going towards either your closing or down payment costs, or both. Okay, so that's how that works. I'm talking really fast because I want to get this information out to you. If you do have any questions, though, you're more than welcome to set up a free consultation with me at loanswithsuham.com. I hope this clears it up. Quick video to let you know that money is required when purchasing a home. So book your free consultation with me right now at loanswithsuham.com. Or if you're ready to buy your home or refinance your home, simply go put in your application at loanswithsuham.com.